It's been 1 year since Whanana passed away. How are you feeling today, Vasa?
Talo for grace, thank you for the opportunity. It's been very difficult. It's been really hard, and Efeso was a blessing to our family. He was an amazing father, an amazing husband, and we really miss his presence in our home. When I think back to what happened and how it happened, it makes me really sad because we didn't get a chance to say goodbye the way everyone dreams of. And so it hurts when we think about it. It feels surreal, and it's just been really tough for the girls and I to adjust. Efeso was many things to many people, but in our home, he was fun, he was silly, he was present, and just so selfless around the home. You know, he made our house a home, and we felt protected and warm and cared for. And to have it just disappear in the blink of an eye.
On the day Whanana passed away, media reported his death first. What do you have to say to that?
I found it cruel. I thought it was unkind. And if I'm honest, I also found it quite unethical. There was a huge part of me that understood that, media and maybe the digital time that we're in, people expect things to be instant and immediate. But I think there needs to be standards when somebody dies. And I think that that's what hurt was I felt like I was the last to know. And I was working. And the golden rule for Efeso and I is when we're presenting, our phones are off. And so we planned to have a conversation, and I was actually on my way to town to picking him up. And he didn't answer. And he had already passed away about 40 minutes while I was presenting, and I had just left work for him. So, yeah, for me, I am aware of the person that broke the story, and I'm also aware of the organisation. And at some point, I would like to have a conversation about it. This probably isn't the right time, but I do think it's important to share just how much harm that person caused me and my kids and my family.
Did the organisation have Whanana's next of kin details that they could have used, to get hold of you?
I believe that they did, and because it was such a public event, I think that all the media were there, and so it was easily accessible. I think it came down to ethics and values and making the decision whether to be the one who wants to break the story or to be the one who's going to be culturally sensitive. And obviously some people chose one path and one particular person chose another.
How are the girls coping so far?
Yeah, it's been a struggle. They were 3 and 11 when he passed away, and that's a big gap between them. So we know cognitively they grieve differently, and I've had to really try and support them where they're at. And I thank God for the faith that we have, because I think without the love and support and the prayers of so many who have reached out, I'm not confident that I could have made it through. And my girls have been really resilient. It's amazing to watch. And if I'm honest, if it was up to me, I would probably just stay at home and cry all day long, and maybe even my eldest. But my youngest wakes up every morning happy, and she's ready to tackle the day. And she's also reached almost a beautiful but also heartbreaking stage where she's accepted that dad's gone and he's not coming back. Whereas my eldest and I, we're still in shock. I do want my girls to see me vulnerable and to see my grief in its rawest form. And at the same time, I am trying to be strong for them too. So both of them have been incredible. I'm so proud to be their mother, and I'm sure if Efeso was here, he'd be super proud of them as well.
A lot of people are wondering if you will carry on Efeso's or Whanana's legacy. Will you carry on his legacy?
For me, I think his legacy includes so many things. It would be an honour for me to try. And if you're asking politically, I mean, the world of politics for me is quite difficult. And I've seen what can happen in terms of having a public life, public profile, and the impact it's had on my children. So when I think about bomb threats, death threats, they were quite unique experiences to our family. And those are the types of things I think about when I think about potentially entering that space and that arena. I'll be honest, I think Fessel was the politician of the two of us, but I learned so much in that world, and I think I owe it to that next generation of leaders to share it. And so I would love to be able to get behind our young people and to see what that next generation might bring to the table. But for me personally, I'm terrified of politics. I'm not sure that I've got the right temperament for it. But I think the biggest thing with the political space is sometimes our young people get turned off by the meetings, the paperwork, the readings, the public life, and we haven't quite made that connection to the influence and power and the decision making. When we have our people sitting at those tables and in those spaces, it can be quite transformational for our communities, and that's why I genuinely believe that we've got to usher that next generation of aspiring leaders in. So I will absolutely commit to his legacy in terms of playing my part and my role. And I love standing at the back and supporting Fessel from the front. And so now that he's not there, I'm wondering, well, who will be? Who's there now that I can get behind?
What were some of the darkest times and struggles, with your journey with Whanana during his campaign and his legacy?
It would have been the countless times he was rejected. I think that in politics we've got a lot of personalities, and there are a lot of people who seem to feel really insecure around him. They saw him as a threat, and people even moved and worked together to try and stamp it out. And as his wife, that hurt. I watched it and it hurt. The same people who would smile and wave on television, the same people who were proactively working against him. So it hurt to see him go through that because he was so genuine and authentic. And I felt like it took his death for people to wake up and realize that was really who he was. There was no gimmick. He genuinely cared for people and he wanted to help. And so it was hard to watch people come out of the woodworks like, oh, we were close friends and we loved him. And I thought, well, actually, I do recall many incidents where people tried to shut him down and deny him opportunities that he deserved. I'm now a solo mum. I have to work extra hard on myself as a mother and as a parent to my daughters. And it's hard when you got a co-parent like Efeso, because he's so good at it, so excellent. I really had to step up my game because I realized, oh my goodness, I don't have that person. When we jump in the car, before I had a choice, do I want to drive or not? And now I don't have a choice. We go to restaurants and they always seat 3 people at a table for 4. And I'm staring at that empty seat and I'm just thinking, and I'm trying to enjoy the dinner with my girls, but I can't help but feel sad. And so these are the things that I need to concentrate on. And so when I do see these people, I do have memories of what had happened, but I've chosen that it's important to prioritize how I spend my time and how I spend my energy. That's why my girls must always come first. We love Fess. We miss him so much. And It's my prayer that more people in politics show the kind of care and love for people that our society deserves. He cared for the most vulnerable, the impoverished, and I hope, my hope is that my kids will always remember that, and that one day they will carry this mantle and they will do great things just like their father did. Yeah, we just really, really miss him, and we trust he's in a better place.